So in this video, I will demo the real-life coordination system. It's a system that is built to help improve collaboration and information flow for real-life foundation. So the system is used by two groups of users, the area coordinators who help the scholars, and the real-life staff who help the area coordinators. And for this specific video, I will demo the system from an area coordinator's point of view. So the screen that you see in front of you is really what the area coordinators will see when they log into the system. The system has four main features. The first one would be the requests module, the scholars module, the latest news module, and the reports and outputs module. The requests module will basically allow the area coordinators to track and submit any of their funding requests. So you can see that by clicking on this button, this drop-down menu will show up wherein the area coordinators will be allowed to create new funding requests, or they can track their in-process requests, or they can review the history of their completed requests. The intent of this module is to make sure that any needs of the area coordinators, any requests they have from the real-life staff are captured into the system so that the real-life staff can take action on them at the appropriate time and ensure that no requests are actually forgotten or missed out. Part of the request module is also the liquidation of other expenses and allowing area coordinators to basically view their cash flow data. Just briefly going into the screen, tracking in-process requests looks like this. So the area coordinators will be able to see all the open requests that they have in the system. Open requests would be those that have been submitted already to real-life staff but have not yet been approved by real-life staff, so they are under review. They can also see in this screen the approved requests, meaning these are requests that have been seen by real-life staff already and have agreed to fund those requests. However, they are not yet funded by the finance department. There is also a third tab for funded requests, which basically shows the requests that have been both approved and funded already by the finance department. The requests that have been funded already are the requests wherein money deposits will be sent to the bank account of the area coordinator. And finally, you can also see here the unapproved requests, meaning those requests that have been sent to real-life staff and real-life staff have decided that those requests are probably not valid to be funded. Going back to the home screen, again, still in the requests module, the area coordinator is allowed to actually look at the cash flow data that they have in the system. The cash flow data is basically all the expenses that they have spent, as well as all the money or allowances that have been given to them by the real life staff. So it's basically a running balance of all their expenses, starting from the initial deposit of the real life staff all the way to all the expenses and all the deposits that have been made up to this point. Now let's look at the next module for the real life coordination system. This one is the scholars module, and the area coordinator should be very familiar with this. This module basically lists down all the scholars and all their information for consumption of the area coordinators. Now, if you are an area coordinator for a certain area, only the scholars under that area will be visible to you. So this contains the list of all the scholars, their basic data, their personal data, their school data, whether they are involved in ministry, parent information, household information, their status, and as well as some administration items which are very important to help real-life staff and area coordinators track the progress of the scholars. So things like adoption flag, whether the scholar has a donor already, dedicated donor already. Red flag, whether the scholar should be in the watch list or needs to be taken care of because there might be potential for the scholar to actually drop out. and also some information on who is the donor of the scholar and who is the life coach of the scholar. Now, this view is essentially the scholar list view, and you can see a search bar at the top wherein you can actually search scholars by scholar name, or you can basically put in most of the keywords available in the scholar information. Let's say you want to look at all the college students, then it will just show you this too. If you want to see those that are in high school, then you just type it in and search. Okay, so no records found. Maybe I typed it incorrectly. High school, there you go. Basically, you can use the search bar to look at to look for all the scholars that match that certain selection criteria. Now, if you want to be able to see the full profile of the scholar, at any part of the page, you will see this icon that looks like a folder, an open folder icon. If you click that, it basically pulls up this profile page wherein all the information about that scholar is available. So the personal info, the campus info, basically the same information that is available in the previous screen. Now, the good thing about this page is that not only are all the information available in one area, but you can actually make edits directly on the screen. So, for example, you realize that the shoe size of the scholar is actually wrong. It's marked as 36 when it should be 37. You just click on the information, and right here, you can actually make an edit, and automatically the data will be saved. So now let's go back to the home screen and look at the third module. The third module is really for collaboration, for sharing information, and even inspiration between area coordinators and real life staff, or even between area coordinators themselves. If you go inside, what you will see is basically real life's own Twitter program. Okay, so this is internal to real life. Only those who are able to access this site will be able to see the information here. But just like the normal Twitter, website, you can basically just put in here any information that you want to share to others, or even links. So for example, you would say, check out this inspiring website, and then you can put a link, http victoryfort.org, and if you just click post, it will basically just show up there for all the other staffers to see. You will see that if you scroll down, you have all the conversations from the beginning of time, so that if you basically want to catch up and want to understand what's happening, you basically read through this feed, so that all the area coordinators and real life staff are actually up to date on what's happening. There are certain filters, pre-built filters available. So for example, if you only want to see information posted by real life staff, you can click that one. Unfortunately, I think there's none. Or from ACs. Okay, or if you just want to show all, or maybe just the ones that are tagged as for action. Okay, or for information. Okay, so you can basically use this to put in all the new information that you want to share to others. It's a new way of collaborating, so that area coordinators feel more connected to one another. Now, finally, the area coordinators are given the reports and outputs module. At this point in time, it's still a very basic report, but we can continue to fine-tune this as area coordinators start using the system. But basically, this module is supposed to give the key metrics that should help area coordinators manage their scholars in their area. So for example, the page will show the scholar status. So how many are currently enrolled in that area, how many are on probation, suspended, expelled, dropped out, how many are alumni already, and if there are new entries wherein there's no scholar status set up yet. This page will also list down the scholars with upcoming birthdays. And if we scroll down a bit, This, I think, is going to be a very important measure moving forward. This is the current by scholar spending. So, assuming that there is a limit on the spending allowed per scholar, what this will basically do is this will give a snapshot to the area coordinators on who are the scholars who are almost at their limit, at their spending limit, while also checking if there are some scholars, for example, this one, who are not really using their allocation. And the question that they should drive is, why is this scholar spending this much while this scholar is not spending this much? Right? Maybe we are not investing enough in this scholar, and maybe that's one reason why this scholar is actually now being red flagged as a potential person who might drop out. And thus, we need to intervene and provide more guidance to that scholar. There are other measures here or metrics. So the percentage of the scholar status, so similar data as the one above. There's also a gender diversity measure, just to check how many are males, how many are females, as well as the metrics on how many are in college, how many are in high school, how many are taking up vocational courses. And finally, these three metrics on whether the scholar has a dedicated donor. So ideally, we want all our scholars to be 100% adopted by a donor. And more importantly, ideally, we wanted all our scholars to be 100% having a life coach, so that they'll be guided properly in values formation and not just in education. And of course, it would be great if our scholars are our majority, if not all of our scholars, are also involved in ministry, because that would show character and initiative for them to be involved in the community and also help. So those are all the modules for area coordinators. That was a very brief overview. Um, if you have any questions, please just contact me. But for now, I leave my email address. It's icdlanusa@gmail.com. So just contact me if you have questions. For now, that's it. Thank you very much.